Well, joining us to talk about Prime Minister Tsvangirai's trip is Newton Kanhema of the Zimbabwe Independence Assistance Network. He joins us from New York. Hello, Mr. Kanhema.
Yes, good morning to you.
We'd like to welcome you to In Focus. Thank
you.
Let me just start off by asking you for your impressions on Mr. Tsvangirai's visit here to the U.S.
I'm very pleased that he had an opportunity to come to the United States and make his case, and I am also encouraged by seeing that the Obama government was able to meet with him face-to-face and in public and gave their support to the efforts that he is making. And I also applaud the government of the United States for taking the position not to finance the misrule that is continuing in Zimbabwe.
Of course, you're referring to the $73 million that the U.S. has extended, not through the government, but straight to the people. But just moving on, your organization is calling on Mr. Obama to continue with the sanctions, the targeted sanctions on Mr. Mugabe and some of his inner circle members. What's your basis for that?
Number one, if you look at the number of people who are calling for the sanctions to be lifted, particularly the targeted sanctions, they are the same thugs that committed murder, torture, rape, and all that during the transitional period between the March election and the June election. A lot of people were killed, a lot of people were maimed, and they were maimed by people who are walking free and right now calling for the sanctions to be lifted so that they can come to United States, to the Western world, to come and spend the money that they stole out of the government coffers during the Mugabe rule.
But Mr. Kanhema, are you aware that the Deputy Prime Minister, Mutambara, who is part of this unity government but belongs to the opposition movement for democratic change, just this weekend say that the sanctions are meaningless and that they should be removed? So what's your position on that?
That's his position, and I do not want to comment on that. I would like to comment on the fact that our organization, ZIA Network, is calling on the Western governments to maintain targeted sanctions, and we are calling on the government of the United States to review the ZIDERA Act, which stops and forbids American corporations to do business in Zimbabwe and with any Zimbabwean institution. I find that this act is actually hurting the people that it was intended to defend in the first place.
Mr. Kanhema, very briefly, we only have about 20 seconds left. I just want to ask you your thoughts on what Mr. Tsvangirai himself said, that Mr. Mugabe really is not the obstacle to the success of this unity government, and that is just a small section of people.
No, I think Mugabe should be held responsible for all the lack of progress that we have, because he is the one who appointed the governor of the Reserve Bank, he is the one who appointed the Attorney General, and these are two outstanding issues that were supposed to have been implemented since the agreement was signed.
Well, Mr. Newton Kanhema, we really thank you for your time, making your way to our New York office, and he's with the Zimbabwe Independence Assistance Network. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.